Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be back with episode 4 of Deck Memoirs. Today on Deck Memoirs, we're looking at Blacpehalon Naganadel from 2019 World Championships. Last video I said we're going to be doing a whole bunch of 2019 World Championship decks because this is my absolute favorite format. And today, we're back with a second one. After the Mewtwo one, we're back with Blacpehalon Naganadel. It's going to be very similar to Shintaro Ito's list, who finished second in the entire event, but was taken down in the finals by Henry Brand with the Mewtwo deck that we did last episode. So, Blacephalon GX Naganadel. Blacephalon GX here has 3 attacks. The main one we're going to be using is Mind Blown for 2 fire energies. We do 50 times, and we can lost zone any amount of fire energies attached to our Pokemon. And we do 50 damage for each card put in the lost zone in this way. So obviously, that just screams infinite damage cap when it KOs. That is exactly what this deck is going for. We're going for 1 KOs with Mind Blown. And also Bursting Burn for 1 fire energy makes our opponent's either Pokemon confused and burned. This can be really nice for numbers because 5 energy in the lost zone is only doing 250, but plus 20 damage from the burn, that's going to be doing 270. You're going to be knocking out a lot of tag teams. So Bursting Burn can also give you math with your Mind Blown. And then Burst GX for 1 fire energy, discard 1 of your prize cards if it's energy attack from our Pokemon. Can be nice in some different niche little scenarios and matchups. But there's another attack, or GX attack, we're probably going to be on using most of the time. So, we're also going to be playing this with Naganadel with Charging Up, which I'll get to in a minute, and Naganadel GX, plus a couple other cards that will support this deck. So, without further ado, let's get into the deck list, starting off with 3 copies of Blacephalon GX. We're not running forward because we have other Pokemon we can attack with. One of our Pokemon some of our Pokemon actually want to get knocked out. Yeah, we have so many ways to get fire energy into play to lost zone with Mind Blown. We have Welder, we have Beast Ring, we have Naganadel. We have so many different ways that can just power up this Blacephalon for when it KOs. Next, moving on, we have 3 copies of the Poipole with Knockout Reviver, which for Psychic and Colorless during your opponent's next turn. If this Pokemon is knocked out, your opponent can't take any prize cards for it. And then 1 copy of the Poipole with Eye Opener, which just lets you look at your prize cards. So a 3-2 split on the Poipole. Nothing much really else to say here. They're both 70 HP, they're both 1 Retreat. And now getting into the fun stuff. We have 3 copies of Naganadel with Charging Up, which is like Psychic Recharge or the new Fluffy, but only to itself. Charging Up, once on your turn, you may attach a Busy Energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. This is going to allow us to get a whole bunch of energies into play really quickly. So not only do we have Welder and Beast Ring, we also have this Charging Up, and we also have a pretty decent attack here, Turning Point, 80 plus. If you have exactly 3 prize cards remaining, this attack does 80 worth damage. So obviously, since we're going to be wanting to take 1 KOs on tag teams with our Blacephalon GX, let me just put that real quick. Blacephalon GX. That means that a lot of times at a certain point in the game, we're going to have 3 prize cards left, which means this Naganadel will hit for 160. So since you're a Psychic type, against Mewtwo and Mew, this turning point can actually just straight up KO and Mewtwo, probably for the game. Well, actually, no, most definitely for the game, because KOing Mewtwo and Mew with this for the game with Turning Point, definitely not bad. And it's for all colors, so you can just power this up with Welder and stuff. Next, we have 2 copies of the Naganadel GX. So we have our Poipoles and a whole bunch of different Naganadels. This is not the standard GX Naganadel. This is the one with Ultra Conversion and Venom Shots. Ultra Conversion, once you return before your attack, you may discard the Ultra Beast card in your hand and then draw 3 cards. So this can help you find your Welders, it can help you find your Beast Rings, and since you have a pretty decent amount of Ultra Beast cards in this deck, you have 3 Blacephalons, probably use like 1 or 2, 4 Poipoles, 3 Naganadels. You're going to have a couple extra Ultra Beasts to discard with Ultra Conversion, and the Venom Shot, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. This deck does 170 damage to your opponent's Pokemon for a Psychic and 3 colors. You have 1 Beast Energy, which counts for any energy with attachment Ultra Beast, and 1 Psychic Energy, which means we can actually use 1 Venom Shot to clean up KOs, and just also really nice in combination with Burst GX, because We can go Mind Blown, Knockout Attack Beam, we can go Venom Shot, a Dedenne, and we can go Burst GX for our last prize card. Other two Pokemon we have two copies of Heatran GX with Burning Road. Once in your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your branch to the active, you may move any amount of fire energy from your other Pokemon to this Pokemon. And then 3 energy, Steaming Stomp, 1 fire energy, Hopper GX, 50 damage, times attack with 50 damage, times the amount of fire energy attached to this Pokemon. So, since you have the Ganondorf from the discard, what you can do is you can use Heatran GX's GX attack or ability to move all the energy up to it. KO attack unit. If your Heatran doesn't get knocked out, you just need another Welder and then Blacephalon off all the energy in your Heatran. But probably more likely what's going to happen is you're going to use Hopper GX, or maybe 3 energy, 4 energy, and then it's going to get knocked out, and then you're going to be able to use Charging Up to get the energy back into play for your Blacephalon GX. And also Steaming Stomp 130 can be a nice little attack too. We have 3 other Pokemon. We have 1 copy of Sigilyph GX with Mirror Counter. This is the 1 card that is not in Shinkaro's original list. I believe he played a fire energy over the Sigilyph GX. But I like Sigilyph GX because it has Mirror Counter. When this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and is damaged by the attack of the opponent's Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX, even if it's knocked out, put damage counters on the attacking Pokemon equal to the amount of damage that the Pokemon took from the attack. So we have Beast Ring, which I'll get to in a minute. If you don't know what that does, it accelerates energy to your Ultra Beast, but only if your opponent has 3 or 4 prize cards left. So we're going to let someone get KO'd, presumably Heatran, because it can actually do damage. Or the Sigilyph GX, which can actually do a lot of damage if you're up against something like a Reshiram Charizard deck, who's pulling out Flare Strike with Sigilyph. They'll immediately take 230 damage, and then you're just like the loss on 1 energy with Mind Blown, and it can save a whole bunch of time and energy for you and resources. And we also have, you can't see it here, but Psychic Colorless Sonic Wing is infected by Resistance, and Intercept GX, Psychic Colorless, 60 damage for each energy texture from set of Pokemon. This can be kind of nice since you do have the 1 second energy. You can, in theory, use Intercept GX, but we'd much rather use Hopper GX or Burst GX. So it's really just here to be stuck in the active, and since you have like Mysterious Treasure and stuff and Cherish Balls, it's really easy to get this guy out in the active. We have 1 copy of Benchberry Mew because we don't want those pesky tag bolts just KOing our Charging Up the Ganondorfs that are really important, or the Venom Shots from the Mew deck. And then finally, we have 1 copy of the Dedenne GX, of course, with Data Change, which can get energy to discard out for your Charging Up and can just grab you in your hand. Supporters, obviously we were playing 4 Welder. A lot of Blacephalon decks didn't actually play 4 Welder. They played more like 2 Welder, which is really weird. When I first saw it, I was like, it's technically 2 Welder, that's really weird. But it's fine because this deck we actually play 4 Welder because we're trying to super aggressively get our energy into play. And then we also have 4 copies of Cynthia because Beast Rings are really important. And if we can't play both Welder and Beast Rings in the same turn, we'll want to be playing Cynthia so we can dig for those Beast Rings. Because we're not playing Welder, we'll probably want to play Beast Ring. But 4 copies of Cynthia, because we don't have to play Welder every turn. We have so many other ways to get energy in play. We have Charging Up, we have Beast Rings. And we have 1 of cards. We have 1 copy of Lily, which draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. And if it's during your first turn, you draw cards until you have 8 cards in hand. Each little 1 of, I guess, can be useful sometimes. And then 1 copy of Hapu, which lets you look at the top 6 cards of your deck, put 2 of them into your hand, and discard the other cards. This can really, say you have a really good hand that you want to save. You need to dig for Beast Rings. Well, Hapu's here to both let you dig for Beast Rings and get energy to discard power for Charging Up as well. We have 3 stadiums. We have 2 copies of Ultra Space, which let's see, once your turn, search your deck for an Ultra Beast card, reveal it into your hand. So this can help establish multiple Naganadel, or it can just search your deck for an Ultra Beast to Ultra Conversion away with Naganadel GX. And then we have 1 copy of Heatran, not Heatran, Heat Factory. which is a prison star. And once you reach first turn, that player may discard a fire energy card from their hand, and if they do, draw 3 cards. So just a little bit more draw. You can draw a lot of cards in this deck in combination of Ultra Conversion, Heat Factory, Cynthia, and Welder. We can draw a lot of cards in one turn, which is really important for finding our Beast Rings exactly when we need them. When I think about Ultra Space, you might be thinking, we're playing 4 Welders, why aren't we playing Giant Hearth? Well, the thing is, most other decks at the time played 3 or 4 Giant Hearth. Which means that if our opponent wants to bump our Ultra Space, they're probably going to be bumping up the Giant Hearth. So they have to decide: do we want to not give ourselves the a Giant Hearth, but also not give our opponent the Giant Hearth, or do we want to give ourselves a Giant Hearth, but also bump our opponent's Ultra Space, but then also give them the Giant Hearth? So it's kind of like you want us to make a trade-off. One thing I found with this deck is that the trade-off. But yeah. And then we have 4 copies of Mysterious Treasure. This might seem kind of weird because we only have, our main attacker is fire. Our 2 most heavy hitters, Heatran GX and Blacephalon GX, are fire. Which might seem really weird by our playing 4 Mysterious Treasure, but because we also have Cherish Ball and Ultra Space to search for our Blacephalon, Cherish Ball can also search for our Heatran. Mysterious Treasure both gets out our basic Poiples and our Evolution Naganadel. So like I said, it's really, really important to get our Poiples turn 1 and Naganadel turn 2, so we can start using that charging and get our energies in play. Next, we have for Custom Catcher. This, if you're not aware, you can play 2 Custom Catcher cards at once. If you play 1 card, you get to draw and save 3 cards in your hands, a little bit more extra draw if you are in pinch. And if you play 2, you get to switch your opponent's bench Pokemon to Dragon Pokemon. Since Guzma had literally just rotated when this World Championships happened, and Boss's Orders hadn't even been released yet, Custom Catcher was the best. Great Catcher hadn't been released. Custom Catcher was the best option. So 4 copies of that. Almost every single deck except for the Reshizard ability deck, which I probably do a Memoirs video on at some point. Had to play 4 Custom Catcher. The Reshizard deck has 9 tails instead of Custom Catcher. But yeah, almost every single deck will be playing 4 copies of Custom Catcher. Then we have 3 copies of Cherish Ball to search out our Blacephalons, our Ganadels, and our Heatran, as well as our identity Sigilith. So the Sigilith, we have so many search out for the Sigilith. We have Mysterious Treasure to search it out. Yeah, I forgot to mention. Mysterious Treasure can also get energy cards in the spare pile for charging up the Ganadel. And Cherish Ball can search for your attackers, can search for your draw. Cherish Ball searches for a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to be playing 3 of those. And then we have 3 copies of Beast Ring. The card I've been talking about this entire video, Beast Ring. You can play this card only if your opponent has exactly 3 or 4 prize cards remaining. Search your deck for up to 2 energy cards or basic energy cards and attach them to one of your Ultra Beasts. Then shuffle your deck. So most lists are playing 4 Beast Ring. That was the one really standout unique thing about Shintaro's list. He played only 3 Beast Ring. But once again, he played 4 Welders. So 3 Beast Ring might seem kind of weird, especially how powerful the card is. You might say, wow, I want to play 2 or 3 Beast Rings every turn. And on the right turn, there's probably only going to be 1 turn in the game where you can actually use Beast Ring. That's correct. You 100% want to play 2 or 3 Beast Rings on the correct turn. But sometimes it's not a big deal when you're playing 4 Welders and you have Naganadel and you have Heat Factory and you have so many other ways to both draw cards and get energy in play. So yeah, 3 copies of Beast Ring. We have 1 last trainer card, 1 copy of Reset Stamp. And then finally, moving on to energy, we have 1 copy of Psychic Energy and 1 copy of Beast Energy. Psychic Energy can be attached to our Naganadel and let us use Venom Shots. And Beast Energy, while it's attached to Ultra Beast, it provides any type of energy within the Ultra Beast it's attached to use attacks to do 30 more damage. It's going to be really nice, especially when it's on your Blacephalon, because it can Mind Blown. Instead of doing 250, when you lost on 5 energy, you do 280. So this can really help you get numbers on tag teams. And then we have, I believe it's 13? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 13 fire energies here to round out the list. So we have a decent amount of energy here. 15 energy in the list. And there we go. Let's just get this over. And there we are. There is 2019 World Championships Blacephalon Naganadel. Really, really powerful deck. When it doesn't brick, sometimes it can brick. You have to get you have to get your playfulls out turn one. Really important to get those guys out. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys like it, don't forget to leave a like. If you guys want to see more deck memoir videos, don't forget to subscribe. Put out about one every other video, and each video comes out about every other day. So that last sentence made sense. Then yeah, nice. And I'll see you guys in the next video.